This is Marc.antomattei with Gentleman Masterclass. I know we mostly talk about men's lifestyle stuff, but I mean, it wouldn't be much of a channel if I don't give mention to James Bond every now and then. I mean, the guy is an inspiration in the style world. I mean, so we got to talk about the new movie, especially seeing how we saw it before the rest of the world. And man, what a killer thrill ride. That thing was full of vigor. Man, what a thrill ride that was. Wow. Wow, where do we begin? I guess we just go in sequential order. And
my name is Dave. I've been a Bond fan since I saw Bond movies in the original Bond movies when they were re-released in the double features back in the late 60s, early 70s. So I saw them on drive-in screens. So you might be able to figure out my age.
Yeah, that. Not to make you feel old. Those are the Connery
ones. These are before even Roger Moore was in there. So I saw those early ones in the theaters on driving screens. So I've been a Bond fan since late 60s, early 70s. Okay.
I'm 38 years old.
Right.
He's been a Bond fan since even before I was born. Okay. So I mean that says a lot. But
this is the way you're supposed to feel after a good Bond movie.
Right.
But I don't think I've ever felt like this after even seeing those ones back then. This is the way a new Bond movie should be.
Right.
And
it's almost perfect. It's firing on all cylinders. It's almost a perfect movie. I mean,
we just left the theater an hour and a half ago, so we haven't processed everything yet.
Right. Still trying to do that. And
it's 5 stars, definitely. I was wondering before the end, was this the best Bond movie ever? You couldn't decide that until you'd seen the whole thing.
It does have its errors and its problems, but those things are so minute. Don't let it be a detractor for you, or it's not going to take you. It's nothing to take you out of the picture.
Bond is back to being the king of action movies, which the Bond movies started action movies back with Dr. No, and he's back to being the king of action movies. Everything else was followed Bond. All action movies followed Bond, and he's back to being the king. The Bond, this one.
Right. Sorry for so much backstory. I mean, you gotta know about us first before we delve into this, so that you know how meaningful and how impactful it was for us. I mean, this was not an easy movie.
I'm not smiling. Sorry, Mark. Yeah. I'm not smiling when I'm worn out.
Right.
From this.
Right.
Okay.
Where do we start?
I've cried during movies. I've cried during movies. I'm not talking about Bond movies. I've cried during movies in my life. I've never cried as much during a movie as I did tonight, or as much after the movie.
Oh, man.
There were not many people in the theater with us, but it was completely silent when the screen went silent at the end. There was not another sound.
And I cried throughout the movie multiple times. And at the end, I mean, when the credits started rolling, man, I was just weeping. And I heard this guy over there weeping as well. So, 2 grown men. I mean, what does that say about us? But
beginning,
okay, we start at the very beginning. Let's go with the barrel sequence first of all. How does that start?
There was something missing from the gun barrel. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but there's something missing.
This is the spoilers review.
We'll do that later. I'm going to say there was something missing from there.
Okay.
You'll find out, which now makes sense. There's a good reason why it's missing.
Okay.
It shouldn't have been here from the beginning, but it's missing now. Okay, you figure that out.
Clarifying this with you, we're doing our spoilers review now, or is this the no spoilers?
Well, I'll do the no. Let's do the no spoilers first.
Okay, no spoilers. Okay.
You can put that stuff in later.
All right, got it.
Yeah, there's something missing from the gun barrel right off the bat, which now makes sense, and this it never made sense before, but now it makes sense. For a while, I thought there would be no opening titles with music, because so many movies now don't do that, don't use those anymore. I thought it was going to be like that, which no, they ended up
No, I thought that they were going to do. I thought that they were going to do that because when has there not been a Bond movie without an opening?
Like we just said, the gun barrel is missing something, so maybe they're doing things new way. I don't know.
Yes,
because the opening sequence, what we now know was the pre-title sequence.
Oh, you said you thought that they were going to do away with the opening credits or the opening sequence?
What turned out to be the opening sequence, which we really didn't know for a while, turned out to be a pre-credit sequence.
Right.
But we didn't know that for a while. It was long, so I thought maybe they're not going to show opening titles. Maybe they're doing things a new way, like many other movies are doing now, with no opening titles and music.
Right.
I thought that for a while. But it turns out, well, this is spoiling it. It turns out there's an opening title and music bit. But during the opening sequence, which we now can call a pre-credit sequence.
Yes.
I had to take off I was wearing sandals. I had to take those off. My feet were sweating too much. I had to wipe my hands down. My hands were sweating too much. It was getting too tense.
Listen, just based on reaction, I knew every time that this guy was excited or any time there was a callback to something previous inside the series or the books, because when he would get excited, I could hear him breathing heavy, and whenever there was a callback, he would always point his finger at the screen.
Pointing it, thumbs up.
And he did thumbs up multiple times.
I'm not going to talk to you during the movie, but...
Yeah.
But, yeah,
but
okay,
listen, I saw this guy do that over there, all these hand gestures like about 20 to 30 times.
Yeah, I admit it.
It became uncountable after a while.
There was some really, really good... There was references to what many people consider one of the best Bond movies, which is On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and to what many people consider one of the best Bond original books, You Only Live Twice. And this happened during the opening sequence.
Right.
During the pre-credit.
Yes.
No, during the title sequence, there was a reference to... actually, during the pre-credits and during the titles to... there
was references all over
On
this
Her Majesty's
place.
Secret Service. Right, so there's a couple there. And they're all really well done. Not corny, schlocky like they had in some other Bond movies.
The complete end of the movie was like that as well. Wow. Characters were like that? Oh, yeah. Man. Wow.
The references were really, really well done. And I wonder, why are they referencing back to those two particular iconic Bond moments, which are, one was a movie, You Only Live Twice. I'm sorry. They reference back a lot to On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is an iconic Bond movie. Many people consider it one of the best. And one of the best books, which is You Only Live Twice. Why were they doing so many references back to those two? The opening titles also had a reference back to
Dr. No.
Right, Dr. No, the first Bond movie. Won't tell you what it is, but they went back to that. There was good references back to the first Craig feature, Casino Royale. Well done.
Right, right.
Well, the story sort of continued on from there. That wasn't just a reference. They picked up a story there.
Oh, one thing that we got into a conversation about, it's kind of clear that this whole Daniel Craig series has been a reboot of James Bond. Mm-hmm. Nothing with this character is tied into anything that the previous actors have did before. Mm-hmm. This is its own continuity, its own story. It has a beginning, and it has a pretty complete wrap up with Daniel Craig's character, we'll say.
Right. They handled that really well. The script writers
really professionally. I mean, it could have went left field easily, but yeah,
they handled that really, really well.
Right.
This is Rock. I'm giving us 5 stars. I've only been out of the movie theater for less than 2 hours. Right for now, I'll give it 5 stars. I mean, think about that later, but for the moment, it looks like it's a 5-star movie. And I'm comparing this to every kind of movie, not just a Bond movie. Any kind of movie you'll see it. I call this a 5-star movie.
How would you rate this against something like the Bourne series? Because I remember for a while, some of the Daniel Craig movies in the in-between, not Casino Royale, that was good, but some of the ones in the in-between for him were kind of hit or miss. You didn't like them that much. And you said, oh, well, now it looks like they're just copying the whole Bourne formula now, just to try to keep up with them.
Right. The Bourne movies really influenced the whole Daniel Craig sequence. There was a break there after Pierce Brosnan, and they brought in Daniel Craig, a muscular guy, and they had more realistic violent scenes, and everything became drier. You know, there was no jokes and everything. So the Bourne movies really influenced the whole Daniel Craig series.
Right.
And there were some moments in this which reminded me of Jason Bourne movies. Well, all in a good way. It wasn't like he was copying it. They all came up with creative ways to pay homage to those movies which influenced this one.
Yes.
All well done. Yeah, there was some of that in there. That's a good thing you mentioned that. There's probably some stuff that I haven't thought about yet.
Right.
The way they ended this one and the way the Bournes kind of...
The drama's good. It's well acted. All the characters did a good job.
Casting is fantastic.
Jeffrey Wright as Felix Leiter. Daniel Craig did good. Other reoccurring characters, Ralph Fiennes as M. Fiennes, yeah.
All casting is superb compared to so many other Bond movies before the Craig era, I guess.
All right, so it fires on all cylinders.
Pierce Brosnan, they started getting good casting. Actually, the Dalton movies, the casting got good.
It did get good.
Okay.
Right.
And from then on, the casting was good. But this is superb, and the acting was fantastic.
Not campy in any kind of way. The jokes weren't too much, but they hit when they did come.
They had some humor in there, which was really well done.
And the action was just sprinkled throughout. So I mean,
pacing was good.
The pacing was good.
Slow,
it never lets
tension.
up. You get enough time just to catch a breather, but aside from that,
tension. My hands are getting sweaty. This is the movie The Wall. I told you.
Right.
5 minutes in that movie, my hands are getting sweaty. That was the Iraq psychological thriller, The Wall. 5 minutes into that, my hands are getting sweaty. This is happening here.
Right.
And in many other older Bond movies, that didn't really happen. They didn't build up the suspense like that.
Yes.
Which they did here.
Yeah, so, right from the word go, man. The opening sequence, I mean, it's not really spoiling anything. The opening location was Italy, right? Was that?
It's
something.
Well,
like,
there was a snow-covered thing at the beginning, but then Italy.
Right,
Bond comes in, it seems to be in Italy, right?
Yes.
And the story begins with him having a relationship with somebody already. He's already in the middle of a relationship. He's not starting a new one like so many other adventures. Right? He's already in one.
Oh, and this is not like the type of flings that you would see inside of the Roger Moore, the Sean Connery movies, where he has a girl pre-credits and then he just kind of ditches her. Come the rest of the movie, right?
It's the 2020s. We're up in the modern age, and nothing is corny about that.
Right.
These are all adult relationships. He's not. There's nothing condescending with women, and nothing. No. This reflects the modern age.
Right, and I was wondering how tactful that was going to be done because the director was talking about that and making a big stink out of it. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be a politically correct movie.
Oh, no problem with that.
No problem.
That was handled really well. The relationships.
Right.
And it didn't seem like you had the formula love interest in here like old Bond movies. This one all made sense.
Right. Okay, I would say that this was a better love interest than what was going on with him and his former wife and on Her Majesty's Secret Service. I would say the dynamic between him and her was a lot better than what it was in that particular movie. I don't know, you could disagree with me if you want.
At that time, when that movie was made, it was
I'm sure it's pretty good for the time. Yeah.
Right. But I was awful I agree with you that they've handled that really well, the relationship thing here. And speaking of that, sorry, I'm not looking in the camera very well.
No, don't worry about it.
But speaking of that, that reminds me that Daniel Craig had a lot of scenes in this movie where he just had close-ups of his face, and he had to convey a lot of emotion, and he did really well.
Oh, some
of those he wasn't even talking.
This was him at his best. Yeah,
he conveyed emotions just with some looks, and they had close-ups on him, and really, really well done.
My favorite Bond movie is Casino Royale, because just for me personally, I feel like that was kind of not really, but kind of the closest that you can get to the books. But this is not really based on any one book because those stories have kind of run its course already. Of course, it borrows some characters from the books and things like that. But I mean, as a wholly original story, this is about as good as it gets for an original Bond story.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
You have not always been the biggest fan of Michael G. Wilson as a writer on these scripts.
I'm glad he came into the Bond organization, Eon, and kept this whole thing going.
Yeah, he reinvigorated it, and he keeps it contemporary.
Having his hand in the scripts, I think, was not always a great idea.
Yes.
It didn't always have good results. But
so what was the thing today? When you looked at the credits, was he credited as a writer? I think the director was a writer.
It went all by really fast, and I was crying. So
it is difficult to tell.
But I think they have Neil Purvis and a guy named Wade. Two guys wrote the script, and I don't know their backgrounds. I've heard the names before, but it looks like they did really well. And Michael G. Wilson was in there
as probably an executive producer,
right?
Or something,
so of course, he had to approve it, but I didn't think he did all the script writing. But I think he would probably made a good decision to get out of the script writing himself and let some other guys.
And I'm not sure if he was in the previous movie or the previous 2 movies or whatever, but Daniel Craig was a producer as well.
A co-producer on this one.
Co-producer, yeah.
And great. If this one was better because of that, then that's great. I hope he stays on board in the organization in some way.
Because he's not,
he had that effect on it.
Yeah, he's not coming back for age reasons. He said specifically he didn't even want to do this movie. I was telling him that he had broken his leg in the previous one, and he said I'm too old for this. I got to get out of this. And I don't know what pulled him back to make him do this. I guess he wanted to wrap things up better than the previous movie.
Believability Daniel Craig is older now than he was when he started.
And I was telling him,
and they reflected that in the movie, the way they started the movie. That seems natural.
Right. I think the guy is 55 years old now, if I can confirm. 53. All right. Okay. Close enough.
Close enough. But it wasn't. We didn't ask us to suspend disbelief too much about that.
Right.
But Craig and his character here.
Right.
Look, we were drained when we get out.
I was drained, yeah. And I tried to take down as many notes as I could, but man, I can't talk about any of this stuff without spoiling it. Yeah, that's the problem.
The references to the previous movies were really well done, and I appreciated seeing all that stuff in here. That tells you something really special was going on.
That's the biggest thing that I can let you take away from this non-spoiler review.
Right.
There's
even... Yeah.
Okay, so one more thing. It was 2 movies ago. It was, man, what was the title of that one? It was the one that M died.
That was Skyfall.
The Judi Dench.
That was Skyfall. Yeah,
right.
The Judi Dench character.
That movie was made coinciding with the 50th anniversary of James Bond on film. So they had a lot of tie-backs to previous things inside the series. This movie was very similar to that in that regard, but this was executed so much more better than that.
There were product placements in here. They were very, very subtle.
And they were not Sony anymore. Unbelievably, this is not a spoiler. When the movie first started, the MGM line comes up, and then after that it says Universal. Before, Sony was a co-partner in co-producing these movies. Now it's Universal Studios. How the hell did that happen? Sony's not a part of it anymore, and they didn't have all the Sony phones and watches or gadgets inside of there.
There's been a lot of behind-the-scenes changes in the Bond universe management structure, right? Right.
And, but there were still lots of products inside of there. You'll see his Omega C Master watch inside of there, which replaced Rolex.
But it's not. This movie has not suffered at all for any of that. And
no.
It possibly got better, maybe.
Right.
For all that.
Wow.
Getting in there, it's a long movie, but it didn't feel like it was too long. And at one point, I was saying, I hope it keeps going because I'm not ready for this thing to end
Because the pacing was that good, but I believe it is the longest James Bond movie. I could be wrong about this. Somebody prove me wrong, but it's 2 hours and 42 minutes. What is longer than that?
It's long, but not too long when you're sitting there. And I was thinking, it's got to keep going on, not because it feel like it ended too soon, but there's something I don't know. Felt like it's got to keep going.
Right.
But during the movie, I think, is this the best Bond movie ever? Do we have to suddenly reassess everything? People used to say, Goldfinger or Connery, those, that used to be top of the list.
Right.
Do we have to reassess everything now? I'm willing to pay money again to see it in movie theaters. Okay.
Me too. I'm going to go hands up. I'm going back again.
Maybe twice at least. I can see it again.
Daniel Craig
I have to recover from this one first before I go back.
This is his 5th movie. He has some really good ones, and then he has some hit and miss ones. How much closer does this inch him towards Sean Connery? Does this put him on? Is he still not on par with him or better than him, but very close? What would you say?
Mark, I probably need more time to think about that. But it's like
Connery
talking about.
He hasn't had too many bad movies.
Okay.
Except for Never Say Never, but that was not
another video,
right,
really. But
right.
I haven't had a lot of time to think about that.
Right.
But to answer, like, remember we saw somebody's YouTube video rated the factors he used to rate the Bonds was dialogue and action.
Yes.
And compared to the other guys, I kind of thought Connery's the king of the dialogue and he did pretty good with the action.
Right. Well balanced.
But I have to see the Daltons again. and leaving out all the Craig movies, which that guy who made that video left out the Craig movies. He didn't
because they weren't finished. They weren't finished at the time.
So
yeah.
You put those two, and I sort of said there's another factor which I called seductiveness.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and explain that.
Because the Bond movies are not just about action and suspense and talking with the villain. There's also women involved, and even locations can be seductive. And well, okay, we're talking about the character. So the seductiveness combines dialogue and action, especially your facial expressions and the way the dialogue's delivered. So I think there's 3 factors there when you're assessing a Bond performance, actor's performance. And yeah, Craig, since his first one, he's been fantastic with the action.
Yes.
I can't think about the dialogue in the other ones, but he's probably pretty good. But this one, his dialogue was superb, and then
even if the stories of some of the other ones may have not have been so good, he's always good with his delivery.
He's been fantastic.
Right. He's good.
Craig has been fantastic all along. If you can get Connery out of your head, you can accept him as James Bond.
Yes.
The dialogue was superb, and in this movie, the dialogue is 5-star. The action's 5-star. The seductiveness. There's vulnerability there, which makes him seductive. Yeah, so.
And I like him as a character inside of this movie. Yeah, about his character in general, he has gotten better because when he first started off, I did not like him more than Connery because I thought that this guy was just he kind of seemed like a dumb, mindless brute. Like he's all muscle and brawn, but no brain.
It was a Jason Bourne clone at the beginning.
He punches his ways through his problems.
You're talking about Craig.
Whereas Sean Connery has to use cunning and
he used a little more brain to solve issues. But they dealt with that in this issue. He dealt with that in a good way in this one.
Right, definitely.
There was one scene there
towards the
end, where he did have to use his mind to solve the problem.
Right.
He uses wits. He uses wits
to
solve this, to get out of this situation, and they did that. They handled that well.
And he didn't solve too many of his problems with gadgetry, although he did get a couple of things from Q, but they were not overused.
Not overkill. No.
Who the hell? Who was the overkill on gadgetry? That was probably Roger Moore.
Roger Moore.
Right. It got too.
Right.
Or even Pierce Brosnan. I mean, they got too cartoonish with the car.
Right. No, they were No. This stuff was believable. Even there was one thing they did here, which they did in Casino Royale.
Right.
They did something with him, which they'd already done it before, so you know it's in the Bond toolbox.
Yes.
It's in the gadget toolbox.
Right.
They used that in the other movie, so they're doing it again. So that wasn't outrageous. No, the gadgets were not over the top. No, they were effectively used. But your question, best Bond?
Yes.
I think he's the best Bond for 2021, and you have to reassess all the other ones now based on when those movies came out.
Definitely.
You can't compare them over the ages anymore. It's a reboot.
Right. If it ended with the last movie,
you can't do anymore. You can't have any more videos showing the 10 best Bonds and rating them all. You can't do that anymore.
Yes.
It doesn't.
Right.
You can't do that anymore.
If it would have ended with Bond 24, right? This changes the whole game. It just changes everything.
Makes all those those YouTube videos irrelevant. Who's the best Bond?
Yes.
It doesn't make sense anymore to make judgments like that, to compare that kind of stuff.
Man, what else could we talk about without actually spoiling the movie? I mean, what did we leave out? We talked about character development. We talked about the pacing was good. The locales, what did you think of the locales inside of this one?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic set pieces. Right.
Some of the other Bond movies, they had great locations, but the story didn't fit into the locations very well.
Yes.
And he was just jet-setting around the world or giving glimpses. Here, the story gelled with the location. There was a reason for him to be here or there.
Gel. That's gonna be my word of the day. Gel. Yeah.
And Mark, I thought about this during the movie.
Yes.
When roughly midway, that there's a reason for him to be there, and he's fitting in with it, and the location is interacting with the story well. I can't get the word here, but the location is being used in the story like the way some of the early Bond movies use locations. They're not being used to show off that we can fly around the world and film in different places. These locations all fit with the story.
Yes.
So I thought that was really well handled. There's another.
You should just say that they gel well.
They gelled with the story. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So that was a good question, and yeah, thanks, because I thought they handled that.
Right.
We got Bond movies about locations.
Pacing, well-developed characters. The locales were good.
He's a king of action again.
King of action again.
Okay. Believable. Daniel Craig handles the action well. It's not too much action, but it's what is in there is all really done well. Music. Mark, what do you think? Okay, you're the music man.
Oh
DJ.
my God!
Okay. Let me ask you. You're a DJ. You're
Don't get me pumped up, man.
What do you think about the? Can you call it the soundtrack or the music with this?
The soundtrack of all people, I never expected in a million years that I was going to see Hans Zimmer's name as the composer of a James Bond film, because it's mostly been David Arnold running the contemporary Bond films. I mean, they're pretty. It's pumping music, but nothing that's memorable. Nothing you want to go out and buy the score for and listen for again.
His other soundtracks?
His other
Zimmer? Or
no.
Arnold.
For Arnold.
Okay.
Arnold. You don't want to go. Yeah, it's nothing really memorable. It's pumping and it makes you on the edge of your seat, but it's not John Barry. There's callback cues inside of this. I don't want to tell you from what movies, but there's callback cues that you will hear from time to time, and you say, "This is from this movie. This is from this movie," and it just feels good.
But it's subtle.
It's subtle.
It's so subtle.
It's subtle and it feels good.
Okay. I want to continue on this music thing in a second, but
yes,
the whole Craig thing, as you said, is a reboot.
Yes.
And so it's not supposed to reference other stuff that happened in our movies.
Right.
It's all, but this one did, but in very subtle ways. And the music was used very effectively to do that. Now, when did you first realize that Hans Zimmer was?
Oh, that was the opening credits.
In the opening?
Yeah, his name just flashed across the screen, and I was like, wow, this guy's coming off of Batman. And
well, what do you think about what he created with the music here?
Oh man, it was fantastic. It was. I mean, it's still not John Barry. Nothing is ever going to top that. But it's not even close to John Barry. It's just different, but it's good in its own right, in its own way, in its own light. It's just different, but it's good.
It's not John Barry. Nothing can top John Barry.
But it's better than David Arnold.
Right. That's a different.
I mean, even he's not that bad, but it's better.
It's a topic for a different video. I can have comments about David Arnold, but you can't top John Barry. It's not John Barry. But what Hans Zimmer did in this movie paid tribute to John Barry in the best possible way.
Tribute, homage.
Tributes. I'm going to say paid tribute. He paid homage to John Barry.
Yes.
In the best possible ways, and I'm saying that plural ways.
Yes.
And he handled that really, really well.
Right.
The way he did that with John Barry.
Right.
The music that was created, that was the part, relation to John Barry. What do you think about in general all the music in the movie? Sort of leave out the Barry references, but what else was in there?
Yeah. I mean, I can't talk about it without spoiling it. It was just good. Well, it's really feel good.
In I think of a
soundtrack. It might even make you cry. It will make you cry.
Oh, the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
A good soundtrack, you kind of don't notice it's there.
Yes.
Until you go back later to see the movie a second time, or buy the music or download it from you hear it later. But you kind of don't notice it's there. I think that's a very effective soundtrack.
Yes.
And I didn't notice it's there.
Yes.
Of course, you hear the title song, and I agree with you. Said it was a good before we saw the movie. You heard it.
Because I've been hearing this song since last year, since it debuted, even before the movie. But he has never heard this song in his life.
First time I heard it was in the theater today.
Right.
And it struck me as good. I couldn't catch all the lyrics, but that sounded pretty good.
Right.
All right. It's good.
Right.
I give that thumbs up right there. They hit that well.
Right. I even had to tell him who Billie was. Like,
Billie,
she's the pop sensation in America now, and he's been living in Japan for too long. He doesn't know who all these contemporary artists are. Before a 17-year-old girl, or maybe she was 16 at the time she did these vocals, who knows? And to be that powerful, I mean, that's too good for her own good.
Opening, Mark, opening opening titles, not opening sequence, but opening titles.
You mean with the
No, you can't
the
tell
credit, the credits, like the names.
Yeah, the name. Yeah. There was music and
it was good.
Visuals and music and names. Right.
Right.
Text. There was
more callbacks.
Text, music, and right.
Loads of callbacks on that. Right.
You're saying callbacks. I'm saying references. Right.
References,
They were in there, but not overwhelming.
The word that hold on. I might be teaching you something new. This is what we call it in the contemporary world. Those things are called Easter eggs. It's like little Easter
eggs. Okay.
No, that's truly what it's called.
Yeah,
little Easter eggs have been left throughout the entirety of the movie and in the music as well, and too many to name.
There was a fantastic Easter egg. I can't say it in this video, but I told it to you after we left the theater. We're standing out getting our bicycles.
Yes.
And I told you what that one was, and you didn't pick up on it at first in the movie.
No, I didn't.
Figured it out when we were talking about it later. A fantastic one. And you almost wonder why they put that in right at that point. But you have to see the movie again to pick up on these things. And
well, listen,
while we're watching this movie, I'm thinking, this movie is, which is like... what you say about good an album is it bears repeated listenings. Right. A good movie
this bears repeated viewings.
Experiencing, not just viewings, experiencing.
Right.
The whole thing. It bears repeated experiencing. And I felt that before it finished.
Yes. So did I, man, likewise. But man, I'm dying to talk about this. I'm getting ready to spoil the hell out of this movie. But I think come on, we touched everything at this point in time.
We got the music, we got the acting, the characters,
I think we're rehashing our own feelings here.
Is there anything else we missed? The women in the movie.
They're good. They're all good. Nobody's done wrong. And yeah, you already mentioned that. In this age of cancel culture and everybody's treated as equals and things like that, the dollies are not getting slapped around or mistreated. Nobody's going to say Bond is a misogynist in this one. Right. Everybody is treated good. Right.
That's right. He does get angry at one woman at one point.
But he kind of has a right to.
Right. Yeah. No, it's just something.
He gets angry at her. She gets angry at him.
This just made me think of something else. The old Bond movies. They used to say the formula is there's 3 women. In the Connerys established that 3 women formula. They actually followed that in this movie, but they updated it, and it makes it, and it's fine now. Yes. Right? I think there was 3.
All right.
Okay.
All right, man. Yeah.
So that's about all we could.
We gotta wrap this thing up. We gotta wrap it up.
Final comments. Thoughts. I'm giving this a 5 star, not just as a Bond movie, but as any kind of movie.
Right.
He's back to being the king of action movies, which Bond started that trend, or that genre. Yes. And I'll pay to watch it again. Right. Maybe a couple times in a movie theater. Yes. I'm happy to, thanks to the Bond people for giving us this experience. And I have to recover, though, before I go back and see it again. I'm exhausted,
right.
and I want to go home and kiss my children.
I was, edge of my seat. I was enthralled the whole way. It was a nail biter.
This is.
It ends with a bang.
This
I wept, and I'm trying to control my thoughts.
Mark, I gave you some napkins at the end to wipe your eyes.
Right.
And I had to use them myself, and I've never cried that much in a movie or after a movie.
Right.
And you never thought a Bond movie would do that to you. Never thought a Bond movie would do that to you. So thanks for bringing me to this movie tonight.
Yeah, I
2 days after it opened in Japan.
2 days after it opened in Japan. I mean, we should have went on October 1st. We went October 3rd. It's good enough. We still beat America. If there's one thing that I'm glad I got to experience before the rest of the world, aside from UK, is watching this movie.
You know, I used to.
Finally, I got something for me. The sun has shined down on Lord.antomattei on this one, so I'm very grateful for the experience.
When I'm also a big Bruce Springsteen fan, and I saw shows back first with 1981. I've seen more than 25 concerts, and over the years they were really good. But I started feeling like it's not the same as it was before. Okay, I'm older. Bruce is older. It's not going to be the same again ever again.
Yes.
And I saw him in 2012 in Paris with Kumiko 2 times.
That's his wife, by the way.
Yeah.
They need to be privy
back
to
to see that was Wrecking Ball tour. And Bruce and Bond, we used to have Bruce and Bond Christmases. You get always Bond gifts and Bruce gifts for Christmases for many years with my family. And I saw him in 2012, and after that I said, Kumiko, I never thought I would feel this way again after a Bruce concert. I never thought I would feel that way again after a Bruce concert.
Did you ever think you would feel this way again after a Bond movie?
No, Mark, I never thought I'd feel the way I used to after Bond movies. And tonight, I felt that way, but it was more. It was more, or better, or more. Or
no pun intended.
More emotionally drained.
Yes.
After a Bond movie than I ever did after any of the ones I saw. After the ones you saw when you're a kid, when these things have big impacts on you. No, I never thought I'd feel this way after a Bond movie again. Usually, you walk out of them and you go, come on. There were some good bits, but it's not like it used to be. Right. That's the way it was for many years, but that's gone.
All right, man. Okay. All right, that's it. We got to wrap this thing up. That was a 37-minute non-spoiler review. All right, just watch it. That is
highly recommend.
Right.
Don't get any information. Don't watch the spoiler videos.
Stay off the internet. Stay off the internet.
Like go fast before the word gets out what this is about.
Don't talk to friends. Yeah, definitely.
Don't talk to anybody.
If they spoil it for you, aside from if you want it spoiled for you, they're not your friend.
Cut yourself off from media. Everything. Go see the movie.
Yes. All right. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Salute to wherever you may be out in the world, and as always, gentlemen, you guys know what to do. Keep it classy.